Welcome back to Video Champions, brought to you by Teal the Agency. I'm Howard Wolpoff, your host. We're talking about video, we're talking about the structure of video and how powerful each part of the process is. Today we have with us our co-host, Andrew Cardy. And Andrew, welcome to this conversation.
Thank you very much, Howard.
So let me ask you, how important is it to have the right editor to edit your videos?
Oh man, it's critical. You can have an amazing story, you can have put in all the work, but if you don't finish it, it feels unfinished. It doesn't look the way that it could. Certainly doesn't sound very good, and there's a lot of components that if you don't pay attention to them and give them the respect they need, you miss out on a great finished product.
It's very true. You really want these things to be clean, not really just for you. It's your audience, and making sure that they're understanding what you're sharing with them in the best manner. And I think we have a very good guest to help explain that to everyone. We have Max Partain from Easy Edits with us, and Max, welcome to our conversation.
Hello, thank you for having me. This is exciting.
Well, we're glad to have you because you really can bring a lot to this conversation. So talking about editing, how much time are you putting in to editing a project? Is there more time on the actual filming, or is it really in the editing process?
So I used to do a lot of filming, and then I realized that if I could just stay in my basement for a long time and just edit all day, I would do that. So now I just edit, and I'll edit for 6 to 8 hours a day, every day. And I have a lot of fun with it.
Well, it's great that you get that enjoyment, and it really can be fun it's like a puzzle. You're putting the pieces together for this story that's being told. Now, when people are creating these videos, do you have a role with the development of the story, or are they just looking to you at your expertise to take the puzzle pieces and make it a masterpiece?
I'll often come in pre-production and help out producers formulate a story that will be compelling in the edit. You want to make sure that you create a story for the edit. That way, when you are presenting your exported video, you have something that's been formulated for that export from the very start. And that way you can create kind of ebbs and flows throughout the entire process. So I come in pretty early on a lot of projects.
That's great, Max. And I think as somebody who's been in video production this is my 20th year, shooting, wow, editing, creating something, I know for me, editing is where I get like stuck in the quicksand. So what's one of the things that you might suggest, a tip for other video producers, production companies, when it comes to editing, and they're like, I love all of it, and then I dread the editing. How do they work with a good editor?
That's a great question. I actually have been working on something where essentially it's like, paper edits, how you would take an hour-long interview and then you would go through the transcription and highlight the text that you want. Then you would find the editor to put that in the timeline. I find that an editor can do that as long as you can give them like a story beat list of what you're looking for from point A to point B to point C. And then the editor can go, oh, this quote works for that. This quote works for that. And then you let the editor have a little bit control of the story. You're still in charge of the overall narrative arc, but the editor is controlling what words are being said when, to ensure that the audience has a consistent story.
I love it, Max. And I think one of the other things I love talking with editors is, where do you find, is it sound design? Is it color grading? Is it like the pace? Is there a part of the editing that you're like, oh, this is where like, I love it. I've got this bag of tricks and I love that piece of it.
It's in the pacing for me. It's all in the pacing. I feel like if you can't get an editor that understands pacing and how music works and how to create little moments and periods of time that have heightened emotion, then you're not going to have an edit that works. And so for me, I love pacing projects. I love ensuring that an audience is having the best experience possible. And that typically happens through pacing and some sound effects.
Yeah.
Having that rhythm really does play a role in what people are absorbing and the emotion they're getting from this. So really having those right edits, having the music hit at the right points where the film is really hitting at the same level really does go a long way in telling the story. So Max, thank you so much for sharing this with us and for joining us today.
Thank you for having me. This was great.
And thank you all for joining us as well. Filming is one thing. Having something on video is great, but having it edited the right way, having that drama added to it, and really putting your message and in a strong way to really hit it home is incredibly important. Maybe even more important, having the right editor to do so will get you to that finish line. So go out, have a great rest of today, and we will see you next time.